Welcome everybody to Linux Academy. My name is Terry, and over this course we will be covering all things Linux, introduction to installation and setup. So now it's time to get our hands dirty. What we've talked about up to this point is what is the history of Linux, what are Linux distributions, what's the difference between a server and a desktop. So now we're going to get our hands dirty and we're actually going to install Ubuntu. For the purposes of all of our example videos over the next dozen or so videos, we will be using Ubuntu 13.04 in combination with Windows 7, which we'll get to in the next video when we talk about dual booting. I've already set up a virtual machine ready to install Ubuntu 2. I'm using VMware Workstation. I already own a license for it. I tend to prefer its virtualization to VirtualBox, which is available from Oracle at virtualbox.org. Although VirtualBox is completely free, VMware Workstation has a relatively hefty license fee of about $200 to it. Either one will work just fine once you've set up a blank virtual machine to install Ubuntu 2, or if you're installing to a physical system with a hard drive in it, all you have to do is boot, which is all we're going to do at this point, so that we're going to look at the same thing that we will see whether it's physical or virtual at this point. So we're going to turn on our system or power it on, and the system should start to boot off of the CD. And as you'll see, again, physical or virtual, this will be the same boot up process that you will see regardless of what we're doing. Now, we're installing from a live CD, which is available at ubuntu.com for any variety, whether it's a desktop or server. So the first thing that we'll see once we get booted to a prompt is whether we want to install or to try Ubuntu. And in this case, let's go ahead and try Ubuntu, because we can get to the installation directly from the try. So we're going to go ahead and pause this in case it takes a couple of minutes to get to the desktop. And here we go, we're back. So this is at a very low resolution, which without any virtual machine tools installed, let's see if we can make some adjustments here. Let's look for settings. Here's system settings, and check out displays, and let's just make this 1280 by 1024 so that we can get a better, easier to read display. So we're going to keep this configuration. So this is what Ubuntu looks like. Whether we install it or whether we're running it off the live CD, we can take a look at what's installed in the system. But what we're interested in doing is we're interested in getting it installed to our desktop. So all we're going to do is click Install Ubuntu 13.04, and it'll bring up its install routine. Now, this is the same routine that we would have seen had we, instead of chosen to try Ubuntu without installing, we would have chosen installation. We would see this. We're not going to change anything here. We will go ahead and do everything the way it would do if it was done automatically. We're going to download all of our updates because we're already on the internet, and we'll install third-party software. Third-party software is non-free software, like software that's required for playing MP3s or certain video codecs that isn't open source, that they can't distribute with the operating system and still make Ubuntu open source friendly and open source reliant, meaning it meets the terms of its license agreements. And we'll go ahead and continue. We're erasing the disk and installing Ubuntu. There's nothing on our disk. We could completely customize it exactly the way we want if we want to, but in this case we're assuming that our physical or virtual system is completely, we'll leave it at Chicago. And US keyboards. All we're doing here is clicking continue. We haven't had to change anything. So let's say our username is test user. Test virtual machine is fine. Username test. Password something very complex. Require my password. You can also encrypt your home folder. If you don't know what any of those things are, you can skip past it. and through the magic of video editing, we're going to go ahead and pause, and we'll be right back once the installation is complete. Checking in on an installation about a minute and a half later. We're retrieving updated files. The initial installation is complete. We're retrieving updates from the internet, and we're completing our installation. So we'll be right back with you. Okay, so as you'll see here, our installation is finished, and we can either continue testing off of the live CD that we've booted off of, or we can go ahead and restart our system. We're going to go ahead and restart now so that our full installation will boot up. Now, one of the first things that we'll do once we get rebooted into our desktop is we'll check that our updates have all been applied. And although we checked the update or download updates while we are installing, either if you did not have an internet connection, or you also checked the box, which we did, for third-party installation of third-party tools. Sometimes those need to be installed after or updated after. And now we're at our full desktop. So let's go ahead and change our resolution now permanently, since we are booted into our full system. We'll do it just like we did before, System Settings and Displays. We're going to go ahead and set it at 1280 by 1024, just like we did before. And Apply, and keep the configuration. Now, as you'll see, it looks exactly the same as it did before, only we were booted into a live CD that is called non-persistent. When you're booted into a live CD, although you can use it, you can even browse, anything that you do to change the system is what they call non-persistent. So when you reboot, all of those changes would have been gone. As you'll see, the software updater tells us that we have 152 megabytes worth of downloads to update our system. So we'll go ahead and update our system now. That's all there is to installing Ubuntu Linux on a dedicated physical or virtual machine. As you can see, we clicked an OK button or a continue button a total of 8 times. 6 times we simply clicked OK or continue to accept the defaults, and 2 times we clicked a box that said, hey, go ahead and give me any updates that need to be installed that you can grab from the internet, and pull down any third-party software for video or audio codecs that don't get distributed with the distribution. So that's all for the initial installation video. My name is Terry for Linux Academy, brought to you by Pinehead TV.